So where we left off, we have a brick wall. This is a texture purchased from polygon.com, and I haven't done anything particularly special about how to connect it. It's simply got color into the base color. It's got gloss going through an invert into roughness, because you can't put gloss straight into roughness. It doesn't make a huge difference. If you switch it off, it kind of just doesn't really make a lot of difference there. And then we have the normal map feeding, the normal image, that's non-color data, feeding through a normal map and plugged into normal. I upped the strength from the standard 1 to 3.9 because I was kind of happy with how that looked. Also, I have an HDR, and if you don't have an HDR, you can go click Object and go World, and that was the default part. I just disconnected it, and this bit is you go Shift A and search, and it was called environment texture, ENV, environment texture, and that's what I've connected. So that's a summary of what we got to in the past. We did muck about with trying to use a displacement map. It didn't work out particularly well with this one. You can make it work well, but it just really wasn't worth it. So what we moved on to was, let's pretend that there was some graffiti or paint or something like that on top of it. So let's go back to the object. What essentially we are going to do is have all of this stuff here. That is the brick wall. What we're going to do is we're going to mix the shading. So I'm going to go Shift A, search, and then type MIX for mix shader. So this mix shader, its job is to take information from one shader, say this principal BSDF shader, and another shader, and then this factor, that's important. That's going to be about which parts are going to show and which parts aren't. So we're going to go back to Photoshop. This we made the other day, and it was 3K, so 3048 by 3048. It had another layer. We added a new one and then deleted the old one, so it's completely transparent. This is the one I want. I called it transparent layer for graph or graffiti. This is going to be an alternative version, so I'm just going to, with the brush, quick as I can, make something stupid looking there. I don't know, maybe like a yellow smiley face or something. Make the brush a bit bigger. There's an eye, there's an eye, and there's a smiley face, because that's how I roll. I'm in the smiley face gang. That's the kind of graffiti I do. I'm going to go File, Save As, wait patiently. So this is transparent layer for graffiti, and this is my testing one for the smiley face. So I'm just going to put smile on the end, and I'll just leave it as the medium, and then I'll go OK. So if we look at this and analyze what's going on, I've got some yellow, I've got some transparency. That's really important. So now we're going to jump back into Blender, and what we're going to do is we're going to mix the smiley face layer, the graffiti over the top, and once we've figured out how to connect it properly, then we can do our own painting on top. So I need another principal BSDF shader. Shift A, search, and then type prin, that's usually enough, PRI, principal BSDF shader. Now because I'm a little bit pedantic about the layout, if it looks the same as it looked last time, then I feel more comfortable. It's a bit like doing, I don't know, maths or physics or something like that. If you do it the same every time, then you don't suddenly feel, hang on, did I muck something up? So I like to keep things all nice and tidy. So this particular shader here, this one, just for now, I'll connect that one up. And why did my brick wall not disappear? I've got the colored wheel of patience, so we'll just have to wait and see what's going on there. It's probably taking ages because I've either got too many things. There we go. Tab. And I'm just going to check that I have... Okay. I think I've got a bunch of other things that I need to switch off. Otherwise this is going to just lag. So let's come back to here subdivision surface. Let's dump that. We don't need that. That's from leftover from yesterday, so that's going to behave a whole lot faster. And we've got 2 of these. I'm not sure we're working on that one. Edit, assign. There we go. So now it's this white color. I can make it red if I wanted to, whatever. But I'm going to add in the smiley face. So Shift A, search, image, texture. I connect this, the red will disappear and it will go, warning, warning, there is no texture. So I now have to go and open the texture that I want. So I'm going to go open, and I don't think I had a, no, I didn't, yeah, texturing example. Yeah, my favorites, I must have renamed that, otherwise. Anyway, let's go find it the hard way. Year 13, texturing example, it's still there. Don't know why that favorite is unhighlightable. Anyway, I'll put it on there. So this is the one we're using, transparent layer for graffiti with a smile. So that's for our testing purposes. I open that image. Oh, that's annoying, it's upside down. Boo-hoo, let's change it, UV editing. Come around here, highlight that, and I'm going to rotate that. How many degrees? To make it an actual smiley face. R180, enter. Looks the same to me there, but over there, rendered. Now I've got a smiley face. But what you do notice is none of that's transparent. So that's where the trick comes in. Our job, get back into rendered mode, is, I'll try to, what happened to my HDR? There it is. I know it's still there. Oh, we'll just leave it like that. It's not necessary for this. Let's go back to the object. So at the moment, I disconnected the bricks and I have connected in my smiley face, but the transparent part is not transparent. So I need to make it transparent. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this mix shader on top of that output. And at the moment it's mixing nothing because I haven't plugged anything in. But I'm going to plug in this brick to the bottom. So what we can see is kind of half bricks, half smiley face. This factor, if I slide it all the way to the left, then it is 100% the top one, which is the smiley face. If I slide it all the way to the right, then it's 100% bricks. Now I'm really unhappy with that lighting. I think it's because I'm in material preview. That's, what a moron. That's why I couldn't see my HDR, because I was in material preview mode, not rendered mode. So anyway, if I go, Jesus, if I go back to 50-50, that's kind of weak, because if you really did spray paint on that, you wouldn't be able to see the brick color coming through. So what we want is, rather than having this factor just be some arbitrary number between 0 and 100, we need that to be controlled by the transparency, this bit, alpha. Alpha is sometimes called alpha transparency. Now one thing that really bugs me is having lines that cross over each other. So I'm going to drag this one and pull it over here and connect it to there. Oh no! What's wrong? It's got them round the wrong way. So I'm going to disconnect that one and plug it in, and it's going to cross over. And again, poor me, I'm going to get a little bit upset by the fact that there's a crossed over line that doesn't need to be crossed over. So I'll dump that stuff up there and move that one down there, and it makes it slightly more readable. Just do a little bit more tidying up. Yeah, and then I'm not pedantic, I promise, or sarcastic at all. Yep, so let's pop that in there. So essentially what's happening is I've got two shaders. This top set up here, that's all the bricks. This part down here, that's the smiley face. Now if we have Node Wrangler on, one of the cool things we can do is go Control-Shift-Click, and that shows you that's the smiley face. If I Control-Shift-Click on that, that's the brick wall. If I Control-Shift-Click on the mix shader, it shows you what they look like all together. And it shows you, I could even go, that's what the color only looks like, that's what the roughness map looks like, that's what the normal map looks like. You can look at what all of those together for the brick wall looks like. Again, that's Control-Shift and click. And then if I Control-Shift-Click on there. So now we've got the setup correct. I don't want a smiley face because I'm gangster, don't you know? And then I'm going to swap out this one here, transparent layer for graffiti with the smile. I'm going to swap that out for the one that's transparent layer for graffiti, and this has got nothing in it. So when I open that image instead, bye-bye smiley face. What we're going to do now is we're going to paint on this transparent layer. Now this is essential. You have to have that one highlighted, because that tells Blender that's where you're going to paint into. Now, if you were doing stencils or something like that, then that would probably be much better than my freehand bad painting. But now we're going to jump into texture paint. Where's my wall? I haven't hidden my plane. What the heck's my plane? Solid mode. It's right there next to the origin. Texture paint. I think it's because I've got the wrong thing highlighted. Let's just double check. Yeah. Why can't I see that? Rendered. There we go. You can see it now. Everything's solid, all being grey and no grey walls and stuff like that. Alright, so we're in texture paint. Just have to make sure that I'm actually painting on that part. Right, so in texture paint mode, there we are, ready for texture paint. We've got our brushes, so if I choose the brush, now on the right hand side, if you click on the top one that's got a screwdriver and a wrench, we've got our various different kinds of brushes, and we've got color. Now, I'm going to be in the green party because I'm good for the environment, and so let's go. Save. No, it's not painting. It's radius, strength, that's up. I actually clicked on the right one. Yep, it's got the S there. Can't see it on the... Oh, how disappointing. Not on the other side. There is a trick to it. We could probably do it straight onto that if you wanted to. Edit mode. Texture paint. Yeah. That's being really annoying. Rendered. I'll keep that there, otherwise I'm going to get completely lost. This is why I recommend stenciling. Save. No, it's not working. Let's make it bigger over here. F. Save the planet. The irony of using an aerosol can to tag a wall and saving the planet isn't lost on me. So there we go. There's save the planet, go to rendered mode, and essentially it's just disappeared. We have to save this image, of course. This one here, image, excuse me, image, save. You don't save it, it won't show. No. That's there. It's transparent, it is saved. Here we go, up here. I have now graffitied all over my wall, save the planet. What you can see though, what's missing in those letters, there's no bumps and stuff affecting that. So the magic now comes in is this normal map here, I'm also going to have it affect the normal map of my paint. So if I plug that in down there to the normal map, and then we look up here, now it actually looks like the paint is on the wall because it's got the same normal map applied. The roughness I imagine you probably could do, but it probably won't make a lot of difference. Let's test it out. So that's the roughness there. Plug that one into the roughness. If I can aim. There we go. So that might make a slight effect. But that is a way to put extra paint on the side if that was something that you wanted to do. Personally, I think that my handwriting is appalling. I would use a stencil. I do have a tutorial video on stenciling. If I can get into there. But if I load it up, I'll just pause the video so we don't have to So my YouTube channel, I have a video here that shows how to use stencils. I did it on an outboard motor, but without playing the entire thing and having to listen to my own voice. Basically what I've done is put this stencil on there. It goes through all the steps about what you have to do in Photoshop. That's essentially what I made in Photoshop, the words, whatever you want to put on there. And then essentially how you get into stencil mode, you'll just go through all the details about how to paint it straight on. There's a whole bunch of other really good videos, and I put links to some other ones. Grant Abbott's got a really good video, and CG Fast Track's got one. I did find one little trick in there, wasn't quite showing, but this video will show you how to do stencils, and it will be actual stuff rather than some terrible handwriting. However, the method that I showed in here, kind of badly, that would be quite useful for putting, I don't know, some manually painting on something that might need to be painted on. So I think that really shows putting an extra layer of whatever you might need to put on there.